All right. Good morning. Good morning. We were a little late here. Definitely not sure what's going on. Had a little bit of issues, but we are here and ready to go with another episode of SalesPreneur, how to recognize and deal with sales burnout. And we are coming live from beautiful and sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Really excited about this one. I got a really good question last week about being burnt out and dealing with sales burnout and what that's like. How do we recognize it? How do we deal with it? Whether we're a manager, whether we're dealing with it ourselves, wherever we are, how do we do it? What does that look like? So if you are on today, make sure to go ahead and leave comments. I can't see who's on, how many people are on, but I do see the comments as always. So leave your comments, questions, and then at the end, I will get back to them. So I'm going to jump right into it. So how do we recognize and deal with sales burnout? Now, this, like I said, this could be for you or your team if you are a sales manager. And as I was doing some research on this and I got the question, I'm like, man, like this is something that I've definitely dealt with in the past, and I've also had team members that I've worked with and managed that have dealt with this too. And I was like, man, this is such a good topic. So I did some research and I found out that according to the Bridge Group report, the average sales organization salesperson turnover rate is now 34%. So that's as of 2018, 34% sales turnover. And there is a percentage of that is good. There's a good percentage of, healthy, I guess you could say, turnover. So let's see. Here's the one thing that stood out to me as I was going through this is for millennials, it's 25%. Or they say 25% will leave their current job within a year. I thought that was interesting. How millennial, like we're so wired to think millennials are very quick to quit their jobs or move jobs really quick, but it's actually smaller than the actual turnover rate. I thought that was pretty interesting. So how do we recognize if you have sales burnout? If you have sales burnout or someone on your team has sales burnout, and here's the one thing that the first thing that really stood out to me, and it's either yourself or your team has no one to turn to. And so you can tell by the way that they act or the way that you're acting where you feel like you legitimately have nobody to turn to. Mentors, no guides, and no answers, and you feel like you have to figure it out all on your own. Or if it's a team member, you can just tell that they're trying to figure it out. Like you can just 100% tell that they have nobody to turn to, and they don't even feel like they can turn to you if you're a manager. So that's one way to recognize it. The second one is it's taking them way too long to do things. Like things that used to take them an hour or could take them 30 minutes to an hour is taking them half a day. That's obviously a very good indication that they're burnt out, or there's very, very large lack of motivation. So there's no daily, monthly, quarterly, or yearly measurements. And so one thing I want to point out when it comes to measurement is a lot of sales managers or a lot of people focus on the amount of deals or sales being done. One thing that really helps in this area specifically is not just focusing on deals or sales, but focusing on activity, because you can always improve strategies and all that. But if their activity is really high and they're doing the work, then that's not a sign of sales burnout. That's a sign of bad sales training. So you could fix that. Or it's a sign of them just not taking to the coaching, which is one of the last things here. And then the next one is negativity. So they're just always negative. Whether you're always negative, they're always negative. Everybody's negative around in the office. You could just tell that there's a lot of negativity going on. So, and then the last one is unwilling to change or accept coaching. So this kind of goes with the measurements one. Like they refuse constructive criticism, or you are refusing. If this is you're refusing constructive criticism, and you can just tell that, like, when anything happens or anything's being said to you, you're just not interested. or you can tell your team is not interested to getting that criticism. So that's how we recognize these issues. So how do we avoid sales burnout? Like, how do we actually avoid this? And I think there's a couple main key things that will definitely help along the road. And the first one is you got to have some sort of sales mentor. It doesn't have to be somebody at your office. That's great. Maybe the top salesperson, maybe it's your manager. Maybe it's someone that's outside in a different industry, in a different field, that maybe you even have to pay for it. I don't know, but somebody who you can always turn to when you have questions, when you have issues, when things come up, so you don't feel like you're going at it alone. That's a very, very difficult thing to do and to deal with emotionally, if you're always feeling like you're alone and you have to deal with everything on your own. So that's one thing, is you got to have somebody you can turn to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Leave the ego aside. Everybody's got one, I know, but leave the ego aside. Okay, so the second thing is take a look at the tools you have and what you can use to make things faster and more efficient. So what tools are you currently using, or what tools do you have available to your sales team for them to use? There's so many great tools out there, like Zapier, which can automate so many different things. Your CRM, Boom Boom, Sales Navigator. There's so many different tools that can help automate your process and give your sales team a break. Give yourself a break. If you're in sales and you have some of these things going on, like, why you need to be using tools. And I listed some. I'll put them in the link below this video, but there's so many great tools out there that can help make things more efficient and can give you, let you, first of all, you'll be able to do more. And secondly, you won't be burnt out with all the tedious little things that tend to burn us out, right? So what's up, Eve Jeanette? Find ways to measure your activity, right? So we talked a little bit about this before, but activity success is not just a deal success, but figure out ways to measure for yourself. Like right now, I have a sheet of paper in front of me. I have a Todoist, but I also write out my day tasks. And there's something about taking this pen and scratching off a task on my list. So when you're going through, do not be like, find a way to be able to complete small tasks and activities, whether that's, hey, I'm going to start my morning, I'm going to contact 10 people, or I'm going to do this amount of things, or I'm going to set up this new tool for my business. Like, it's so important and critical to be able to do the small things and mark off the small tasks, and not so much about, did you get the sale? Did you get the deal? You'll get those, but if you're only focused on those and you go a certain period of time without them, you're gonna feel burnt out. You're gonna have sales burnt out and you're gonna lose. Whereas if every day you're constantly watching and seeing how much you're completing and your activity levels are high, if your activity levels are high, eventually you're gonna get there. So, and then the last thing is fire them or yourself, and that's just in all reality. It's okay if you have a team member, they're just not going to work out, and we got to let them go. And yourself too. If it's just not the right fit for you, then it's okay to let go. So that's the last thing. And then what to do if you're already burnt out. So Madeline, what's going on? If you're already burnt out, you're already past these stages, you're past recognizing it, you're past avoiding it, and you're already burnt out. Here's 3 things that you can do. First of all, create little goals just for today. Little goals that you're going to accomplish today, whether that's contacting a certain amount of people, a certain amount of lives that you need to do, whether that's a certain amount of calls that you need to make, something little that you can do today. I know you're burnt out. I know things may not have been going your way. You're not having success. You're getting frustrated. Everybody's really driving you nuts. Create something little that you can do today to complete, and complete it and cross it off. Just have a few little things and cross them off your list. And let's just get this going one day at a time. Do not let today go by because you feel burnt out, because you're upset, because things aren't going your way, like we talked about here in this video, and go ahead and cross those out. Okay. And then, so first thing is little goals. Second thing is finish small tasks on your to-do list. And then the third thing, and I think this is super, super important, and we forget this, is to celebrate all and any wins. To celebrate all and any. If you do a live video and you had a good interaction and you felt it was successful, even though it wasn't as big as you wanted to, it wasn't as great as you wanted it to be, celebrate it. If you sent an email and they replied back, they're not interested, celebrate it because you got a reply. If you made a phone call and they're not interested right now, but they may be interested in the future, celebrate it. If you made a phone call and you did end up getting a deal, but it's not as big as you want, celebrate it. Celebrate all and any wins when you're in that sales burnout mode. Because all you need to do, listen to me closely on this one, is all you need to do is catch one little glimpse of momentum. That's it. One glimpse of momentum, and you're off to the races, and you're never looking back. So that's all that I had today. Everything from how to recognize if you have sales burnout, how to avoid it, and what to do if you already are burnt out. And then just the reality of things, whether it's, letting go a team member or letting go yourself. But that's a whole other topic. But I do think it's important that we are realistic with what we're doing. So that's all that I have. Eve Jeanette, Madeline, what is up? I do not have any questions. So I will see you all next Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. Don't miss it. Be on time because I'm going to be cranking in right away. I want to try to keep these somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes. Today we're at 14, so it went perfect. And I will see you guys next week.